Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And we're in week 4 of our Christmas ideas, 12 weeks, so we're getting there. And today I thought we would do something that I do virtually every year in a different way, but week 4 is going to be all about baubles and ornaments. So I thought we would do a little card box which takes 3x3 cards, and it's going to be decorated with baubles. So you could actually do this as a card if you wanted to. Anyway, you need a piece of cardstock, any colour. I've done one in any colour cardstock. So this one's actually in white. I've done another one in very vanilla. So we are going to cut it down to 11 inches. So let's put it there so hopefully you can see it. 11 inches on the long side, and then on the short side it is going to be 7.5 inches. Okay, so on the 11 inch side you are going to score it at 3.5 inches, at 5.25 inches, at 8.75 inches, and at 10.5 inches. Then you're going to flip it onto the short side and score it at 1.75 inches, score it at 5.25 inches, and score it at 7 inches. Okay, and that's all the scoring and everything that you need to do. Okay, so I can take this off and take the scoreboard out of the way so we can actually see it. Hopefully it'll focus in again, because it's a bit, it's not, that's better. And we are then going to, with some scissors, let me have a look. I'm going to use my large scissors actually, but we are going to take it from the take it through like this, and we are going to cut it up. So it if you've got the little piece at the bottom and the little piece down the side, you're going to cut up each one of these lines just up to the center, and you're going to just do a little wedge in at the same time. Whoops, that's a bit far up, but never mind. So cut it in and just do a little wedge up, cut it in, and cut it in down on here, and then, as I say, just wedge those pieces up. Okay, so you've just got some wedges in on there, and then you're going to flip it around and you're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So just take it up to here, take it up to each one of those. Again, spend a little bit more time than me. I'm racing this because I don't want it to take too long, and some of you will have already made these last year and probably the year before, because as I say, I tend to make a little box like this every year, but I know that there's people that have haven't been with me that long, so it's always good to give ideas for them that don't scroll back through all the 700 odd videos that I've got now. Okay, so we then, if we turn it, we've got these two little tiny flat pieces here. We're going to take those off, and we're just going to wedge that piece a little bit. So just take those pieces off like that. Okay. And then we are going to, you can burnish it beforehand or you can burnish it afterwards. So just a piece in on there, just fold along those little creases. And this one, which is your tab, fold along these pieces, and again in on the other side. Like this. Now, if we see this little tab down the side, that's what's going to close the box together. So if we do it this way, we want this to come at the back of the box. Okay, so I always fold it up because then it's easier for me to see. Now these are going to go down quite easily like this. Okay, we then have these pieces at the top. So this one on here, we are going to cut it down by just over half. So there's just a little piece left over like this, because I quite like to, and this is where things develop over time. So I'm just going to cut that in just a little bit to give it a wedge so it'll go in nicely. But when I like to have a really nice round edge on here, which is where the box opens. So just by doing it like that, you haven't got a straight edge which you have to cut. Now these pieces are going to go in on the side, so again we need to cut those down by about half on that side and by about half on this side. Okay. So you will then have, if I put it out like this, you will then have a box that looks like that. So that's your flap. That's going to be glued in on here on the back. You've then got this which comes down. That's your bottom, which you will glue in with this piece coming at the back. And then these will go in like this, and your lid will come in nicely like that. Okay. Now, I've already done mine because I've done another one in the Very Vanilla. So exactly the same in the Very Vanilla. And I have got some decoration and things to put on them, and we'll do that in a minute. So let's put this together. You can put the decoration in first, or you can turn around and put it in afterwards. So I'm going to do it afterwards, only because then it's easier. Sorry, let me get some glue. It's easier for you to see what I'm doing. So this we're going to glue down first, because we want this to go in nice and flat. So I'm using wet glue. You can use whatever is your preferred glue. And I'm just going to put this down on here. Okay, and just hold it down, because that's going to give that really nice smooth edge, which is what I want. Okay, now we're going to glue this piece onto here. So again, the easiest way for me to do it is just put my glue in on here. Take this piece and just put it down so it goes right down on that edge. And we can make sure that it's nice and tight up to the edge. It says me I've got a little bit of glue on my fingers, so you just need to make sure that you've got this sitting in nicely. So that line comes up with that line, that comes up with that line, so you've got it nice and straight. Okay, then we've got these pieces are our bottom pieces, so we can just quickly put these in, and I always make sure that the front one comes over at the back so it sticks on there, and I just tend to just glue this top piece in on here and just put that in like that. Just make sure that it's come nice and straight. And I tend to look at the box as I'm doing it so that I can straighten it up if needs be, because we don't always cut things absolutely perfectly. So that's given me the nice shape of my box, which is in perfect size, and this gives me my smooth piece. So we now have, I have cut out of a 6 by 6 sheet, 2 pieces of 3 by 3, and then 4 pieces of, I think we only need 3, but they are 1.5 inches by 3 inches. Okay, so 1.5 inches. So basically you cut this one, your 3 by 3, you cut it in half. Okay, and that will give you your 2 side panels. All right, now because I want the front to be a little bit different, because this is obviously a 3.5 inch box, I want this to be only have 1/4 inch on the front. Don't worry about the other bit. I'm putting this, which is just a piece of silver glimmer paper that I've had for a long time, and then I'm going to put the 3 by 3 piece in on top of here like that, so you've just got a little bit of a fancy border in round on there. And then that can go quite simply on the front of my box. Now I'm not worrying so much about the other sides, but this piece I want to have it nicely with a 1/4 inch border. If you want to do it all the way around, you can do. I'm trying to, as you know, this year, trying to show you ways of being more of a economical crafter. So that's the front, which looks lovely. And then I need to put these pieces in on the side. Now I'm making sure that I've got, I've cut them so that the baubles are running in the right direction. Okay, so this one is going to have a bigger border top and bottom, because to be able to get it all out of one 6 by 6 sheet, you have to be able to cut it at 3 by 3 pieces. So the piece on the back, because it doesn't really matter quite so much, I'm just doing it as a 3 by 3 with no other mat at all, because as I say, we're trying to be a little bit more frugal. So I can put this on here, still decorates it nicely, but it's not as fancy, but it doesn't need to be. So we can then take the other piece, which is the 3 inches by 1.5 inches. So it's that other half piece, and that can go in here like that. Okay, so we've got those sides done, we've got the front done, and then I just need one of these pieces, and this is going to go in on the top because I want the lid to look a little bit fancy. So as I say, we've got all of this out of one sheet, and we've still got a little bit left over. So you can then make your cards for going inside, and I will show you the cards that I've done. So that's your little box, and as I say, it then should go quite neatly in on here. If you find that it's a little bit tight, which I think this is probably just a little bit tight, you can take a little bit more off these edges. So I'm just going to take a little bit more off this edge. On that side, and just trim it down. You want the box to close fairly neatly, but in the same respect you want it to be able to close without it being too difficult. So let's have a look and see how that's closing. There we go, that's perfect. Okay, so you've got that in there. You can put a little finger hole if you want to. I don't think you need to as much with this, because you know the front is where the silver part is. So we'll open that up, and then we can fill it with cards. Now, on the front, I'm going to decorate it with a bauble, because obviously the paper's got baubles and this has got baubles as well. Now, I have used, this is very, very old. I think probably 10 years old. Ornament keepsakes. There were 2 lovely stamp sets with the baubles in, and then there was a coordinating die set. Just really interesting the way the old dies were, because we were part of the big shop was made by Sizzix. So it had Sizzix on there, but just the difference in quality. These were really sturdy, and we had press studs. So you have press studs going in there, which were really easy. These are our newer ones, which, as I say, we now have a little slot thing going in there, and it's far flimsier because we don't use plastic as much now, because plastic is something that, you know, we try not to use. So I want to put this in on top like this. So I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on. Now these happen to be ones that I was given a little while ago, so again I'm just making use with what I've got. So I'm just bobbing some dimensional sticky pads, whatever you've got, just in on here like that, and then this can go in on the front. So again, if you've got, most of us have got some form of bauble stamp, so just, you know, use something that is going to coordinate. You don't have to do it with baubles, you can do it with whatever you want. I just want the bauble because I think it looks quite pretty and just adds to the look of the box, and you can see now it looks really rather nice. And now I'm going to just go through the cards. I've made them because you don't need to see me doing the cards, but what you need is, and I tend to use 12 by 12 for this, because if you cut a sheet of 12 by 12 in half, it's then 6 inches long. And for these 3 by 3 cards, you need a piece which is 6 inches long by 3 inches. So you can cut it all the way down out of a 12 by 12 and you get 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get 8. So you get 8 cards. I've only done 5 for this, but that's because I had the paper that was over. So yes, so 6 inches by 3 inches, scored at 3 inches, and then I've put 2 3/4 inch paper. We do 3 by 3 envelopes, or you can make them on your scoreboard quite easily. And I've just done these with the smaller ones. So I've got one with the Merry Christmas over the top. I've got one with the Merry Christmas underneath. So that's the second sort of card, and the last one was another sheet of cardstock, slightly different, and I did it in crushed curry. So you've got 3 different cards, and as I say, then there's duplicates of them as well. So I've got those with the envelopes, and they can go inside the box. And I just wanted to show you, this is 5 with envelopes plus embellishments, and they fit in quite comfortably. In fact, you could probably fit 12 cards in there if you wanted to. I've just, as I say, done 5 on there. Just pop the lid through neatly, and it fits nice and snugly. And there you have a lovely little box full of cards. Now you could, of course, use this box and just fill it with treats. It would work as a little box to hold a scarf, a piece of jewellery, any little Christmas gift, but it's a great idea for these little mini cards. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please stay safe and well, please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.